Good evening, everyone. This is Kirti, member of Youth United Council of India. YUCI, Youth United Council of India, works towards youth development and empowerment. It aims to equip youth with the right skills to help shape their future, to turn them into exemplary citizens of the future. YUCI aims to unite and organize youth into a well functioning team that can tackle issues that affect them as well as work towards sustainable development. YUCI is dedicated to its purpose of strengthening the youth today for a better tomorrow. I warmly welcome you all to our session about the real job market. I would like to cordially welcome our guest speaker for today's session, Mr. V. Chacko Jacob. Mr. V. Chacko Jacob is a talented leader with proficiency in learning, in training highly skilled teams to support the achievement of overall corporate goals and objectives. He has more than 25 years of experience in domains of marketing, sales, HR, and training. Currently, he is working as Deputy Manager, MRF Limited, Chennai. I would now like to hand over the session to our guest speaker. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Kirti. I hope
Yes,
you can hear me clearly. I
yes,
request
sir.
the team to just put on my PPT also. Of course, the PPT will only be a support to my talk, but then
Yes, sir.
it has some interesting captions too, right? I'll give a short background by the time my PPT comes on, right? Uh, Vimal of Yuki is my good friend. He came to my office, which is in Greens Road, Chennai, and met me. And we have had a couple of meetings. Of course, Vimal has been very busy, okay, and he is constantly traveling. But whenever he has come to India, he has made it a point at least to have one short meeting with me. So in the course of this, one day he suddenly just called me and said, I've got a system where we do, guest talks, right? And so I would like you to give a talk, okay, on this forum, live forum. So I said, fine. We discussed a little bit about the topic. And then he said that, okay, the real job market will be a good topic for you to deal with, right? And so here I am, right, dealing this topic with you. Now, before I get into the topic, a small introduction. Why this topic? The real job market. When you are actually working, not working, when you're students, okay, one big apprehension is how will I get a job or how am I now going to get into my career? Okay, so this is one of the very big questions. And many people are either led correctly or misled, depends upon how much of exposure that they has, right? Now, if you look at the current scenario, what is the real job market? Okay, when we say, what does the company actually require? Okay, what is the company trying to actually go towards to? Okay, can you please move to the next slide, please? Right? Yeah, you can move to one more slide after this. This is the topic. Thank you so much. Okay, so what is a company actually looking forward to? Right? What do they need? Now, sometimes people will say, there is no job at all anywhere. We are not able to find any job anywhere. Well, I'll tell you something, I won't agree with this statement. If you look into any newspaper, okay, if you take up the job section, you will find that it is actually 2 pages or sometimes it's up to 6 pages in length. So I won't agree that there are no jobs. There are jobs. Okay, there are jobs. Now let's go to the next slide so I can continue forward with that. So what is the need of the hour for the company? Now, the problem of the company is not that it does not have a job to offer. The problem that the company actually faces is that we are not getting the right person to do the job that is required for the company. Okay, now there are a lot of people with high qualifications in the market. In fact, India is a country where need is far above what the requirement is, right? The need is far above the requirement. And how do we solve? What do I mean by this? Okay, let me take an example of the company that I work with. I work with a company called MRF Tires. And as you know from the name, we are a manufacturer of tires. Okay, so now the first thought I'm giving you is this. Is there a possibility that anyone from any college, let us say he scored 75% marks, 90% marks, or even if he scored a center in 3 or 4 subjects, what is the possibility that he would know anything about tires? The possibility is very remote. Why? Because number one, there are very few tire companies in India, 15, 20. Okay. And if he's a fresher, there's absolutely no chance. Okay, let me put it like there is a 5% chance. He might have gone for an industrial visit to a plant, any one tire plant, and he would have just seen something. But even then, does he know the exact job that is required in a tire company? I doubt it. Okay, so whatever his qualification, whatever the marks he gets, right? He basically starts from zero when he gets into the tire industry. I hope you agree with me, right? He knows nothing about tires. He knows nothing about the manufacturing of tires. Yes, there will be some common machines in all the industries, right? Those machines, he might know something about it. But again, the application of that machine inside the tire industry will be completely different from the application of that machine inside some other, let us say, a fabrication company. Correct? The need is different. The application of the machine also is completely different. So what is the need of that? The need of that is that we are not actually looking for a candidate, okay, who is very bright, who is very brilliant, who knows everything, who's very sharp, who's got center. The need of the company is a person might not necessarily have got 100%. If he got a center, that is good. Okay, if he got a top rank, it's very good. If he got a state rank, it's very good. If he came university first, it's very good. But that's not the exact need of the art. The exact need of the art is I am looking for a person, okay, who is eager and keen to learn something new. And when it comes to learning something new, he might also have to unlearn something that he has learned before. Okay, I hope you agree with me. I'll give a simple example. Most of the exercises that you have in your physics, okay, or which you have in engineering, I'm talking about simple exercises, which you solve like mathematical things. All these exercises will involve, okay, a machine rotating at so and so speed in a clockwise direction. Look at any textbook. 75% of the sums will have a machine rotating in a clockwise direction. But you know what's the actual fact? Machines don't behave like that really. Some machines rotate clockwise, some machines rotate anti-clockwise. Some machines have even more fantastic pattern. 2 times clockwise, 1 time anti-clockwise, again 2 times clockwise. So see, if you come into any company with an understanding that a machine rotates clockwise only, this is dangerous for you, right? You need to first unlearn that and get into the thought that let me be open. Let me understand how this machine operates. Let me then take that understanding and apply what I've learned to it and see how best I can go forward. What is the need of the hour? We need somebody who's open, who is keen to learn, and who is keen to grow. Let's move on to the next slide. Thank you. Okay. So when a company looks in the market, we have thousands of candidates. I opened the talk by telling you, that the supply is far above the demand, right? I may require 100 engineers, but there are, lakhs of engineers out there applying for a job. Correct? Now, one thing you have to understand, the spread that we have, we don't actually, have to calibrate them as good or bad. Or if you're a candidate, you must never get into the thought process that if you don't get selected, I'm a bad candidate. I'm not good enough. Don't get into that thought. Or if you get selected, it doesn't mean that you're good and all your friends who didn't get selected are bad. It's not that. Everyone is a good candidate. Everyone is good in their own way. It is just that that company at that particular moment is not finding you as a perfect match for their requirement. That's all. It's not that you're good or you're bad. It's not that way, right? I'll give you a simple example. I'm coming from a HR fraternity. Yes, I'm more of a training guy, but I do work very closely with HR team. Okay. Now I take care of sales and marketing training in MRF. And I've got a colleague in my team who basically takes care of recruitment for MRF. Now, what he is doing is that he is trying to understand whether this candidate will be a good mix for what what is our culture, whether he would fit. And above all things, no, I mean, of course, culture fit, whether he fits in the company, whether his behavior is good, whether his attitude is positive, all that is there. But more important than all this is not that. The most important thing, frankly, is this. The guy on the recruitment side, his thought process is, if I take this guy, now I'm looking for a position to fill in West Bengal. The leader in West Bengal is Mr. X, who is this kind of person. For example, he is an aggressive guy. And so the perfect guy, I think, will match him is a guy who's little calm. Because if I put two aggressive guys there, then they'll keep fighting. Nothing will get done. We need a calm guy there who can be a perfect balance too. Again, I'm telling you, HR guys are not gods. We try our level best to match. Correct? Sometimes it may work, it may go wrong. I'm happy in our company. Most of the time, we seem to get it right. We seem to match somewhat okay. That's why we have got the best figures for retrenchment in the market. And no doubt about it. We try our best to match, but we are not gods, right? So I would encourage you this time, if you are a person who's in the final year looking for a job, and if somebody rejects you, okay, in a campus interview, or they reject you in your first interview, don't feel bad. It's not that you are bad. It is not that you are good. It is just that that company at that moment did not find you suitable for the kind of work which they have. They might have thought that, okay, I mean, the kind of team which I have, this guy may not gel with my team. That's all. Again, are we gods? No, we are not perfect. We are not perfect. Okay. We might even make a wrong choice. But then see, that's the logic. That's how they go about things. Right? There are 101 different kind of tests which are done and all that. But end of the day, this is what it is. The guy who's recruiting, he must have a very positive feeling about you. And he must also think that this guy can match my team. This guy can match my company. Right? Can we move on to the next slide? Okay. I'm in fact going to touch back upon something that I opened this topic. Can we move to the next slide, please? Thank you. Okay, like I told you in the beginning, okay, this picture very nicely shows you, right? The supply we have in this country is far above the demand. So you see, the supply side is much lower, or it's much heavier than the demand side. This is going to continue. Why? Because the amount of engineers that are churned out in India is the highest in the world. In fact, we don't even require. This is not the case only with engineers. To read the newspaper of yesterday or day before yesterday, there was an article about how the number of pilots that are getting qualified or getting churned out far more than the amount of pilots that are actually required to fly flights. And then there was a study also saying that by 2026, we will have so much increase in aircraft. Maybe by that time, these guys who are actually getting qualified as pilots now, who work as apprentice now, at that time, they would have a good, have a good future. So this is the story, not only with engineers, not only with chartered accountants, not only with the pilots, with every single field in India. Anything that you go into, the supply is far above the demand. Let me move to the next slide, please. So how do you bridge this gap? Now you may be thinking like the supply is much more than, okay, the demand. So how do I bridge the gap between the supply and the demand, right? Now for this, I'll take a few minutes since I'm also saying that I have a bit of time. I'll run a small case study for you. Okay. Can we go to the next slide, please? The next slide will actually show you a few questions. Okay, I'll just hold it there. So when I say go forward to the questions. So let me just tell you that, a case study similar to this came in one of our popular movies called Singham. Okay, so just to giving you a highlight. Now see, a barber is giving a haircut to the king. As he is giving a haircut to the king, the barber starts a conversation with the king. And the barber tells the king, hey, I am so close to you, Maharaja, but that minister over there, you are giving him such a high salary and you're paying me such a low salary. The king is a very good king. Yeah? So what he does is, any other king would have just clapped and said, cut this guy's head. I mean, story over. But this king is a good king. He tells the barber, I'll give you a task that I usually give to my minister. A ship has come to our harbor. Can you go and get me some details about that ship? And now this guy, barber, runs to the harbor, comes back and say, Maharaja, there is a ship. King is ready with his next question. What is the ship carrying? Again, he runs to the harbor, comes back and says the ship is carrying cotton to be sold in Maldives. He says, how many people are there in the ship? Now, this way, the barber keeps running up and down. So every time he thinks the task is finished, the king has a new question for him. And by the time evening comes, the barber is completely tired and exhausted, trying to do this job and trying to make his king happy. Many of us are exhausted trying to make our boss happy. This is a similar case. The barber is completely exhausted. He comes to the king totally exhausted. The king says, now I will show you why I pay the minister such a high salary. He tells the minister, the same task. A ship has come to our harbor. I need some details. The minister makes one trip, goes to the port, comes back, and gives the Maharaja every single detail. What is the name of the ship? How many people are there? What is it carrying? Who's the captain of the ship? Where is the origin of the ship? Where is the ship intended to finish? How long is the ship stopping in this place? Etc., etc., etc. The minister gives him comprehensive details, even details which the Maharaja himself wouldn't have thought of. For example, things like what is the male-female ratio on the ship? What are these guys in the ship? Are they vegetarian, non-vegetarian? Okay, where will they spend money here? Will they buy gold, or are they going to have a haircut, or are they just going to become clean, have a bath? How many days will they stay in a hotel? What is the average spending potential of each person on the ship? The barber gives the king much more than what he requires. Okay, my request you just go forward. The same slide has got 5 questions. Thank you. Now, simply just think. Of course, see, I'm not able to interact with you because see, this is a live talk on thing and I don't actually see you, right? But then if you were to think, what was the mistake of the barber? Yeah, I usually do this as an interactive exercise. because of time and also because of the method in which we are doing this talk. I'll just answer these questions. What is the mistake of the barber? I mean, is it a mistake that you aspire for a higher position? No, that's nothing wrong in it. Okay, any one of us will aspire for a higher position. Now, the mistake of the barber is not that he wants, I mean, again, before we go into the mistake, what does the barber really want? Does he want the job of the barber or he wants the money of the barber? Aha. See, he doesn't really want the job of the barber. I mean, minister. The barber doesn't want the job of the minister. He wants the money of the minister. This is the first thing we have to understand. In that case, what's the mistake of the barber? Instead of concentrating on thinking on how he could make more money in this job or doing something else, he's wasting his time being jealous of the minister. Right? Now, let's understand something. Okay, a barber can never become a minister. No chance. Similar to how me, as a HR professional, I can definitely not become a finance minister unless I go take up a separate course in finance, do another MBA finance, work another 10 years in a finance company, and then get, highly accomplished in the world of finance, turn over a couple of companies, get the trust of the current Prime Minister of India, and then I get into politics and become a finance minister. Okay, that is possible. But see, the point is this, right? If I need to become a minister, or if I need to get the money of the minister, then there are some things which I need to do. The first thing is this. I need to look, how can I make more money? One way is this. I can start another shop and say, maintain your beard like the king. I train a young guy to cut the beard exactly like how I cut for the king. And that shop can be, 10 kilometers away from the current shop. People start, I make up a good deal with this young guy. I say, now the shop is yours, right? Just 25% of the revenue you give to me. The rest of it is yours, right? And I will ensure clients continue to come to your shop. By the time the barber has 5 shops like this, he will have 5 times the income of the minister. So he can make more money than the minister. Next, he understands what is his actual skill set. Here the barber is being jealous of the minister. If he just does his job properly, what does a barber usually do? He doesn't just cut hair, right? He talks to people. So imagine a guy is come from a ship. One of the places he will run first is a barber shop because he wouldn't have shaved himself for a very long time. As the barber is cutting and shaving, he can just ask, hello, excuse me, you seem new here. Where are you from? Just, you don't know. One ship is come. I belong to that ship. Is it? How many other people are there in the ship? The ship has 232 people. Hey, what are you carrying? We're carrying cotton. Aha, where are you going? If you're going to Maldives. Oh, so you're just stopped here for supplies, is it? Yes, sir. How many days do you plan to stop here? Sir, we plan to stop for 3 or 4 days, sir. Now, in the purpose of, or in the process of just doing his job, the barber now has got complete information about the ship. Evening, Maharaja is coming to trim his beard before meeting his Begum. As he trims, he says, Maharaja, you know something interesting. A ship has come to your kingdom. These are the details of the ship. This is the name of the captain. This is what they are carrying. This is the value of the goods they're carrying. It's going to stop here for 4 days. It's got 232 people. Now the Maharaja looks at the barber and says, what? You are a barber? You're a very useful guy, man. Hey, listen, next time you provide this kind of information to you, I will give you a bag of gold. And hey, listen carefully. If you provide any information of anyone planning to kill me or something, and that information is proven right, I'll give you 2 bags of gold. From that day, the king is now trusting the barber for information, and the barber is making a bag of gold each time he provides that information, and he's making more money than the minister. I'll wrap this up quickly. What are the myths you identify in the story? The first myth in the story is this. Sometimes people think just because you're close to someone, you will become successful. There are 2 people very close to the king or any leader. One is his driver. The driver knows everything about the master. You know that? Where does he go? Where is he going in between 12 to 2? He knows everything. The driver knows much more about the master than even the wife of the house. This is a fact. Next is the barber, who is actually shaving. If he just increases the force on the knife, he can just cut his throat. So see, these are people that are trusted by the master or the leader. But the leader cannot pay that much salary to any one of these people, correct? I cannot pay a driver 1 lakh rupees, even if he knows my deepest secret, right? There is a certain salary for a driver. So the myth in the story is that, just because you're close to someone, you can grow. If you have stuff, you will grow. Okay. If you don't have stuff, you're not going to grow. Next myth in the story is everyone can do everything. Everyone cannot do everything, Baba. Everyone has skills. I can speak well. There are people in my company, they are so calm and so cool that is the biggest asset. Put him in any situation or condition, he's cool and calm and he thinks well and he gives you proper replies. You got it? Everyone has got their skill. Everyone cannot do everything. What are views on your minister? The minister is very good at his job. But what is the maximum minister can grow? He can become a minister in charge of 1 kingdom. He can encourage the Maharaja to capture 1 more kingdom, and then he can be a minister for 2 kingdoms. But the minister is already in his highest position. But what is the potential wise? If you look at the barber has far greater potential because he can grow from the level of a barber to a very trusted aide of the king just by providing some value to the king. Your views on the king? Hey, a leader has to be like this here. I told you the king could have beheaded the guy, but the king chooses to give him a chance to learn and to grow. Any leader has to be like the leader, the king in this story. Some thoughts on becoming successful. Well, for that, I would like to actually go to the next slide where I have some thoughts there. How do you bridge the gap? Number 1, you bridge the gap by doing something different. Okay, what I mean by that? Okay, what is that skill set you have which is different, which actually distinguishes you from the people around you? I'll tell you something, and this is not so complicated. Those of you who are watching this talk, if I ask you a simple question, how many of you are above 5 feet 7 inches in height if you are a male? And how many of you are above 5 feet 2 inches tall if you are a woman? You will find a lot of people raising their hands. In fact, I'll tell you, it may be about 25 to 30% people who say that, their height is more than 5 feet 7 inches. Another 25-30% of women will say their height is more than 5 feet 2 inches. Why did I ask that specific height? That is the average height of the Indian male, and that is the average height of the Indian woman. So if you're watching this talk today, and if you think that there is nothing different about me, I think again, if you are taller than 5 feet 7 inches as a male, you are already different. You are taller than 70% of people in India. If you stand in a crowd, you will get noticed. You're already different. God has already blessed you with something different. You're taller than most Indians. Same thing if you are a girl or a woman above 5 feet 2 inches tall. If you're 5 feet 7 inches or you're 6 feet tall, awesome. You're already blessed with a very different gift. You will get noticed wherever you stand. I told you something very simple. If you really look within, you will find that one skill set that differentiates you from everything and everyone around you. The next thing of how you bridge the gap. Okay, very simple. You have to provide value. What value can you provide to that organization? I will again tell you something very simple. Okay, my education was in a very good school, St. Bede's in Santom, Chennai. The good thing about that school is they encouraged people to speak in English. In fact, if they find us speaking in Tamil, they will take us to the assistant vice principal or the assistant headmaster. We, get a hit from a cane on our hand. And because of this, we try to speak English maximum of the time because we knew that if we don't speak in English, we'll get punished. Well, guess what? I was not very smart in academics. I, in fact, failed in the 12th standard. It's a big story, and I will have to do another program for you to explain that journey. Today, I'm a double postgraduate degree holder in marketing and HR. I have an MBA HR, I have an MBA marketing. 2 MBAs. When people see my qualifications, sometimes they wonder, how did this guy manage this? I am struggling to get just 1 MBA. How did this guy complete 2 MBAs? And you know something, I'm not going to talk about my degrees. That English education which I got today, in so many ways, I'm able to provide value to my company. One, I welcome people who come into my company at whatever level, even a level of a VP. In fact, assistant manager and above, when they join my company, I take them through training for the first 10 days. My company feels that when I train them, the company gets the maximum value. Or that senior person thinks, wow, if this guy is a trainer, then I mean, the company has to be good. They trust me. They trust the skill that I have in this language which I have, and they trust the experience I have that I can transfer my positive experience to these people. I'm providing value, not by doing great technical things. I'm also doing a lot of technical things. But the basic thing is I'm providing value to my company just by speaking very good English. The company feels if they have a need, someone to represent the company somewhere, they push me forward and say like he can do it. So 2 things. How do you bridge the gap? 1, think what is that skill that you have which is different from what others have. Try to highlight that. Try to grow into that. Next, provide value using your skill set, right? Using your skill set. You're a very good speaker, but you've got a job which is in front of the computer screen all the time. I don't think you can provide value, nor you can show value. What you have to do is, any opportunity you get to speak, you stand in front of people and speak. And what happens is, they see, wow, this guy can speak here. And you will from that day be providing value to your organization. Now, shall we go forward? Because I want to talk something about the current modern ways the market works. Next slide, please. Thank you. Modern ways. Now, what was the old day? Old way. The old way is that, people apply to the company. The company places an ad, apply to the company, and you will get lakhs of, prospective people seeking for jobs. Today, companies don't do that. Companies very rarely do that. If I need 250 engineers or 300 engineers, or I need 400 engineers in a single shot, I may do that. I may place a ad inside a newspaper, and that will attract huge number of CVs. Especially if my company is MRF, I have huge, lakhs of CVs, right? But today you must understand, most of the jobs are not filled that way. Most of the jobs are filled using social media. We put up a post in social media, or our recruiter puts up a post on social media, either through LinkedIn, Facebook, Glassdoor. There are so many sites. And we are able to actually target the ad very specifically at a specific segment. And what happens is that segment of people only reply to the ad. For example, if I want B plus MBA with 2 years experience, I can ensure that my ad goes only to people with that specific experience. So this is a more better way for me to find a candidate rather than placing an ad, because when I place an ad, I will get even a response from a person who is BCom, who has got no connection with that ad. Also, he'll apply. Okay, man, I'll apply and see whether I get. Correct. So we find that, increasingly social media. And one thing is that people make a big mistake here is they put a lot of rubbish on social media, not realizing that any company's HR guy actually searches your LinkedIn profile or your Facebook profile and sees what is it that you post. Okay, so these are modern ways in which people are recruited today. The next thing I want to talk about, job hunting versus job searching. Before, people used to search for a job. You look if somebody posts something and you apply. If you do it that way, what happens is that your CV will be one among 1 lakh CVs. What is job hunting? You look for a specific company. I encourage every one of you who has not got a job and who's actually searching for a job. When you look for a job, what you need to do is first identify those 10 companies that you want to work for. When you're in your college itself, start talking to the HR managers of those companies. Ask them if there is an opportunity for internship. Tell them it is your dream to work in that company. Build your contact. Many ways are there. Directly, through social media, through LinkedIn, you can get in touch with those people and be in touch. And if there is an opening, right, they would consider you first, right? That is how you go about job hunting versus job searching. Being 1 in a lakh guy searching for a job, no, but you hunt for the job that you want. List. If you feel I need to work in a biotechnology company, make a list of the top 10 biotechnology companies and start touching on them right when you're in your college. So that if there's any opening there in those 10 companies that you've made a list of, you join them. Especially if you're a girl or a woman, you should be more focused towards this. You must work in the company that you want to work. Research it well, study well, join the company that you want to work for. And I am confident you will excel. Because when you want to work somewhere, there's nothing that can hold a woman back. You know that? If a woman wants something, she gets it. So with focus, aim at the company you want and get it. The last thing in this is what we call referral. The era of bulk, especially in mid-level positions and top positions, they no longer recruit people through what we call the traditional method. What works best is referral, right? If someone from your LinkedIn list can refer you to a prospective company, nothing like it. Because that person tells, I have worked with this guy. This guy is very good at this. There is an opening in your company for this. And I think he's a perfect match. Whether it's a personal referral or a referral on LinkedIn, referral on Glassdoor, referral from your peers, 10 people who have attended, for example, a guy like me, 10 guys who have attended my program, anywhere, physical, online, anywhere. They make a comment on my LinkedIn profile saying, "You are very good at what you do," or "Chacko sir is very good at what he does." Someone else reads that. It says, if this guy is able to convince or, able to impress 10 people with a skill, especially guys right from entry level to senior level, are commented about him. This guy must be good. This is about modern ways. So I like to conclude, okay, this way by saying, okay, the real job market is a market that's open for everyone, but it is a market that accepts and rewards people who are focused. The job market rewards people who have something unique to offer, and it also rewards people or companies that can provide value to others. I finish with a simple example, not of a person, but of a company. If you look at Apple, the success of Apple is simply that they provide value to you. What is the value that they provide you? Their phone is more secure than other phones. This is the first thing. Second, you are sure that the quality of the hardware will be much better. For example, you buy a cheaper phone which claims to do everything that Apple does. You will find that the phone hangs in the middle or suddenly shuts down. So that problem doesn't have with Apple. Correct? They're able to provide a value which others are not able to provide through their products. Whatever it is. See, when they came with iPod, what was the value they provided? A CD can hold only maximum 200 songs. An iPod can hold 3,000 songs. And you don't have to have the whole album. You can pick and choose only songs which you like and keep only 2,000 songs that you like inside your iPad or iPod. How do you like that? Providing value. So if I buy a CD, it'll have 12 songs and only 2 songs are good. Correct? Or I have to go to a painstaking process of choosing 12 different CDs. From 12 different CDs, I take the 12 best songs. iPod, I only choose that which I like, pay for it, download it, and I keep it. Correct? Providing value. So both in a job or in a company, if you provide value, you will experience growth. My dear friends, I'd like to finish by asking you if you have any questions. Next slide, please. It's basically just giving you a big red question mark. So I don't know how this forum is basically, it's a talk, right? And I'm also within my time, right? So I will ask you if you have any questions. This talk is live on Facebook and it's live on YouTube also, right? Vimal from UKI, yet Youth United Council of India will compile some of these questions and move it forward to me. I'm usually very prompt and replying, right? So I will reply to your questions. And I would like to tell you that if you're going to look for a job in future, keep in mind the last thing or the second last point about referral, what I told you about job hunting versus job searching. Hey man, think about it. Where do you want to work? What type of job do you want to do? Which companies offer you that type of job? If you're in the final year of your college and you don't have a list of 10 companies that actually offer a job that you would like to do, then you're missing something, my friend. You're not prepared. This world is full of people who are prepared. And if you're not prepared, they will eat you alive. Get prepared. Make a hunt for those companies that you feel can best bless you, that can make best use of the talent you have, that can make best use of the qualities that you have. And trust me, your life will be better if you have a focused search. And by the time you complete college, build up enough people's referral in your field who can tell the prospective company that's going to employ you, this guy is good. My dear friends, thank you so much for this opportunity to speak to you. Right? I enjoyed doing this talk. I hope this talk was beneficial to you too. Until you see me again in another talk. Thank you. God bless you all.
Thank you very much, sir, for your valuable information about job market. It will definitely help us in future. On behalf of Youth United Council of India, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to our guest speaker, V. Chacko Jacob sir, for joining us in today's session about the real job market. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.